You've built something real. You have a team, you have customers, you have a product or service that genuinely works, but the growth isn't where it should be, and honestly, you're not totally sure why. You've tried agencies, you've tried consultants, you've hired people, fired people, tested new channels, rebuilt your website, and you still find yourself in the same conversation every 90 days. Why is growth inconsistent? Here's what I've learned after 30 years of growing companies, and it's probably not what you expect to hear. The problem is almost never execution. It's almost always strategy. I'm Rich Smith. I'm a CMO, a founder, an angel investor, and a CEO advisor. And for the past 3 decades, I've had one obsession: understanding why some companies grow fast and predictably, while other ones, even smart ones with talented people, stay stuck. I've been the CMO at Ditech, where we grew loan production to nearly $25 billion. I scaled Recovery Centers of America from $2 million to $100 million in revenue. At Jornaya, I helped achieve a 9-figure exit to a strategic buyer. None of that happened by accident. None of it happened by trying more tactics. Every one of those outcomes came from building the right strategic foundation first and then executing from clarity. That's exactly what the Executive Growth Studio is designed to do for you. Let me describe something, and I want you to tell me if it sounds familiar. You're making decisions every day about marketing, about sales, about where to invest the next dollar, but you're making them without a clear strategic framework underneath them. So each decision kind of floats on its own. You hire a new agency, and they need 3 months to get up to speed. You run a campaign that gets clicks, but doesn't move revenue. You have a sales team that's busy, but your pipeline feels unreliable. This is what I call executing without a strategic foundation. And the reason it's so exhausting, the reason it burns you out, strains your most important relationships, and quietly erodes your confidence is that you're solving the wrong problem over and over again. What I want for you is simpler and more powerful than any of that. More money without more time, a roadmap to a successful exit or substantial income growth that changes the lives of your family, your employees, your investors, and yourself. What you need is a system, a clear, integrated, strategic system that connects your positioning, your buyer psychology, your channels, your pipeline, and your leadership all the way through to a specific, defined, successful outcome. That's what the Executive Growth Studio builds. The Executive Growth Studio is a 16-week high-performance program built specifically for CEOs, founders, and senior executives at companies who are serious about growth. Here's what makes this different from anything else you've seen. First, it's a cohort. Each class is limited to a maximum of 10 companies, and every cohort is carefully screened so that no 2 companies in the same class operate in directly competitive markets. Your strategy stays protected, but more importantly, you gain something most executive programs never give you: a room full of peers who are facing the same leadership challenges you are, who have no competitive reason to hold anything back, and who can push you further than any solo program ever could. Second, admission is by application only. I review every applicant personally to confirm strategic fit and program readiness. This isn't a course you sign up for, it's a program you earn your way into. The program runs in 3 phases: diagnostic, strategy build, and implementation across 16 structured weeks. And it opens with something no virtual program can replicate. Before week 1 begins, your cohort gathers in person for a full-day immersion session at the Union League of Philadelphia, Liberty Hill Lodge, and the Summit Conference Center. You arrive the evening before for a welcome dinner with your class. The next morning at 8:30, we go to work. Over the course of that day, you get a full orientation to the Executive Growth Studio methodology, the Brand House framework, and the behavioral science principles that will underpin every session over the 16 weeks ahead. You complete your initial business diagnostic in a live facilitated workshop format, surfacing the strategic gaps, leadership challenges, and market positioning that will define your personal focus for the program. And you leave that day with something that compounds in value every week that follows: peer accountability partners, non-competing executives who are on the same journey, who know your business and who have a genuine stake in your outcome. The relationships you build in that room on day 1 become one of the most valuable things you take out of this program at week 16. Phase one is the diagnostic, and it's probably the most important work we do because most growth problems are misdiagnosed. Leaders think they have a marketing problem when they actually have a positioning problem. They think they have a sales problem when they actually have a buyer psychology problem. They think they have a team problem when they actually have a strategic clarity problem. Over 6 weeks, we conduct a comprehensive audit of your revenue model, your marketing spend, your sales pipeline, your competitive landscape, and your personal leadership operating model. We use behavioral science frameworks throughout because how your buyers actually make decisions is often completely different from the story your funnel metrics are telling you. Loss aversion, temporal discounting, social proof dynamics, these aren't academic concepts. They're the reason deals are stalling, messaging isn't landing, and your sales are lower than they should be. By the end of phase one, you have a gap analysis report, a candid, prioritized breakdown of your specific weaknesses and the highest leverage growth opportunities. No fluff, no vague recommendations, exactly where you are, exactly where you need to be, and exactly what's in the way. Phase two is where we build your strategic system. We start with the brand house, my proprietary framework for positioning and messaging architecture. This is where we define exactly what the market game you're designed to win. Craft the proof architecture that closes buyer skepticism and build the full messaging hierarchy that gives your entire team, from your CEO pitch to your sales deck to your LinkedIn presence, one consistent, differentiated story to tell. Then we go into behavioral communication, applying the peak end role, framing effects, availability bias, and social proof to your actual marketing and sales material, not as a theory, as edits to your website, your pitch, your email sequences. We build your channel strategy, prioritized investment framework based on your specific buyer's decision process, your business model, and your competitive position. We stop funding what's costing you without producing, and we concentrate investment where it actually compounds. And we close phase two by building your full revenue engine, the integrated system that connects your pipeline inputs to your conversion mechanics to a revenue forecast you can stand behind in a board meeting. By the end of week 12, you have a complete growth strategy framework, not a slide deck, a working strategic operating manual for the next 12 to 24 months. Phase three is implementation, and this is where most programs stop. They hand you the strategy and leave you alone to figure out the rest. We don't do that. Over the final 4 weeks, we activate your 90-day go-to-market launch plan. Onboard vetted execution resources already briefed against your strategic foundation, stand up your core marketing infrastructure, and build your leadership operating model, your personal system for making faster, more confident decisions and communicating direction without creating organizational dependence. And then comes something that no online course will ever give you. At the conclusion of week 16, each company in the class presents their complete strategy, their brand house, their messaging architecture, their full execution plan to the entire group. You get structured, pure feedback from non-competing executives who have been on the same journey for 4 months. You get your formal graduation strategic review with me, and you walk out of that room with a fully validated strategic roadmap. The confidence that comes from having presented it publicly, and a peer network of executives to continue to hold each other accountable long after the program ends. Now we get to the big question. Rich, what does this cost? Well, if you were to add up what you would pay for a revenue generation gap analysis, a new behavioral science driven brand messaging platform, a new go to market plan, and sourcing resources to help you execute, the cost could easily be $80, $100, $120,000 or more. The investment for the Executive Growth Studio program is $12,500 for 4 months. You will receive a 5% discount if you pay up front. The immersion session, lodging, and meals for one attendee are included. And if you would like to bring an additional attendee and there is space available, you can do so for a nominal cost. I'll be honest with you about what this is. It's not a cheap program. It's priced for leaders who are serious, who understand that the cost of not solving this problem is orders of magnitude higher than the investment to fix it, and who are ready to do the actual work. If that's you, the next step is a strategy call. We'll talk about where you are, where you want to go, and whether this program is the right fit. I want to say something directly to whoever is watching this. If you're a CEO or founder who is good at what you do, who has built something real, but who's quietly carrying the weight of not knowing exactly what to do next to get growth where it needs to be, this is for you. Not because I have some magic formula, but because I have spent 30 years watching the difference between leaders who operate with strategic clarity and leaders who don't. And I know what it costs the ones who wait in revenue, in missed exits, in relationships strained by years of uncertainty, in generational wealth that never quite materializes. The Executive Growth Studio is for the leader who is done waiting. Go to richmsmith.com and apply for the next class. We'll start with a conversation about your business, your growth challenges, and whether this program is the right place to solve them. Spots are limited to 10 companies per class, and they fill up. Together, let's build something that lasts.